Gosh.
Boop, boop. Here it is, preparing to live stream, setting up meeting for Facebook Live. And I think that's where we're at. Let's see.
We're live.
All right, we're live. Yeah, here it is. So we are on week 96, everybody. Welcome.
Well, we've lost Bobby.
Are we still alive?
We are still live.
Okay. Well, Bobby,
He'll come back. I'll let him back in when he rejoins.
All right.
But I guess I'll pick up where he left off. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome back for another fabulous virtual tasting. We are on to week 96, which sounds insane. And we're so happy that you're back to join us for another week. We are going to kick this off with our 2020 Saigné Rosé, move on to our 2020 Estate Sauvignon Blanc, and then finish up with the 2017 Main Street Cabernet Sauvignon. I guess I'll pass this over to Dr. Becker to let him have a few words.
Well, traditionally for the last 96 weeks, for the most time, a couple of times I've not been here, but it's just a minute of remembrance of all the people fighting this battle. It's not over. You know, thousands of deaths in the United States still every day from this. Now it's lots of children in the hospital. And just our continued support and love for the people who are fighting this fight in the front lines. And as Joe always points out, it's medicine and it's education and it's maintenance and it's all the things that it's people operating our grocery stores and, you know, our food chain. Everywhere you look, there are people who have fought this before vaccine, during vaccine, and after vaccine. So our tribute is to them. And it's always been a delight for me to think that we're going to do what the people in New York were doing on their fire escapes and have an hour of things that will cheer people up. And these wines are very cheery, in my opinion. I'm very, very excited about this. And so we're going to start with Saigné. Galen, Bobby apparently pushed the wrong button on his computer.
He did. I've sent him another link, so he should be joining us really soon. and it's very possible that Rachel will do this as well this evening. But I think we're both very well versed in wine drinking and tasting, so we should be able to make it through. And I think Bobby is rejoining now as me.
He has a little snowman icon. There's Bobby.
There he is.
Welcome back.
Here I am. Thank you so much. Yeah. So with the new computer, it's learning some different things here. So appreciate y'all's patience on week 96. So yeah.
We're about to begin with the Saigné.
We are.
If you've got it poured, smell it, sip it.
So this is Groundbreaking Groundhog's Day. So with it being so overcast today, I don't know if
there was a shadow.
Saw a shadow. So hopefully, right, I know. So hopefully this is kind of a precursor to maybe an early spring. So I was being hopeful and and having this on here. So
if we can escape, February's been our nemesis. So it's been dreary February, frigid February, I think, really. And boy.
Yes.
So Bobby, this wine is made from with Saigné. It's because it's named Saigné, which means to bleed in French. And it describes the technique for making this style of rosé. And it's, in our case, I think our winemakers have used this technique to further to increase the intensity of the reds by, you know, the kind of the richness of the wine. It depends on many things, but one aspect is the kind of the skin to juice ratio. And so if they take off 5% of the volume when it's just at this level, and then let fermentation continue on the skins, we get a darker, richer, rounder red wine, and we also get this beautiful rosé. And I think this is a blend of a number of different red grapes. Does anybody know?
We do.
There you
Rachel
go.
was so kind and sent over the blend sheets for this. And now hold on to your hats here. This has got Dolcetto, Cinsault, Petit Syrah, Mourvèdre, and a bit of Chardonnay. So we put a bit of Chardonnay in there. I'm assuming to perhaps lend a little bit more fruit, a little bit more brightness to this wine. And it's interesting to see how dramatically different this is from the 2017 vintage that preceded it. This is just gorgeous, but I think it's interesting that we ended up with things like Petit Syrah and such a delicate little rosé.
Right. With something that gives that much like character and color composition, like a Petit Syrah, and you really don't see it like in there, that's really cool.
Well, and for this to be so delicate, you would never guess.
Right, exactly.
I mean, this is my, I think the two I've loved the most, and I've met most of them, but my two favorites are this one and the 2012 rosé that John made, that contained Grenache and some Mourvèdre, and but was very much like the great rosés of the southernmost region of Provence. And but this is a beautiful blend of herbs and spice, and does it have any residual sugar? I don't think so. I think everything. No, it has none. This is all.
No, sir.
This is all just recovery of incredible fruit notes that they put together so nicely, and plus the color is outstanding in my opinion.
Really is. Really is.
So pretty and springy, and it's bringing a nice light in on this dreary day.
Right, right. So the aroma, I mean, just very floral. I mean, definitely getting the rose petals,
Rose petals for sure. Yeah.
some little bit of melon. So
Uh-huh.
get a little anise. Oh, that's really beautiful.
Maybe a
What do you think?
violet note or two.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I would say I'm getting something a little herbaceous as well on the nose.
Mhm.
Perhaps some thyme or something along those lines. On the palate, it's just incredible. I almost get obviously maybe some Meyer lemon, still carrying through with maybe some honeydew melon, things in that nature. And there's something here that's I don't know, reminding me a bit of almost celery, almost rhubarb, something really bright. Got beautiful tartness to it, and I'm picking up strawberry, maybe a little bit of raspberry. It's beautiful. This is one of my favorite wines. This is usually what I seek out for a glass at the end of a work day.
Oh yeah.
And some nice minerality in this wine, which I love in rosé. Boy, it's great. How has the response been to this in the tasting room, John? Bobby, are people able to taste this? Is this the first release, or?
Yes, sir. So I think between the two rosés that we have showcased, so we showcased the Jolie as the welcome wine, as like a complimentary sample. I think a lot of people kind of have been gravitating more towards the Saigné a little bit more. Just that brightness, just that it just showcases and just the youth and the vibrance that it showcases is so fun. So I think it's showcasing very well.
Absolutely. And I will say it's been fun to have these two rosés in the tasting room. We've got currently the 2018 Jolie and the Saigné, and they are so dramatically different. I think there are a lot of people that are still unfamiliar with the fact that rosé can be dry and can have quite a bit of nuance and depth to it. It's not just a pink, sweet liquid. And so people will come in and say, well, which one should I try? I'm like, well, try them both. They're so inherently different. Try them side by side, and it's interesting to get people who may think that they only enjoy red wines to discover, oh, hey, there's something really pleasant and light and killable that I can also enjoy whenever we have warmer days.
Exactly.
Oh, this is gorgeous. I'm almost picking up maybe a bit of like apple blossom, peach blossom, something like a white peach or nectarine.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah.
Got it. On the palate, especially.
And I feel like every time I set it down and give myself a second and pick it up, I'm picking up a new aromatic, it's a new flavor. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite things about this rosé is it's not just flat. It is very brilliant.
It's got a lot of layers to it. No, I'm kind of picking up a little cherry blossom characteristic that just kind of sneaks up in there.
It is. This is something really pretty.
It
It's a
is.
very pretty wine.
Well, it's
It
interesting. Our other one is jolie, which in French means nice, pretty, and happy kind of. And this one is blood, or I'm not. Maybe we have those backwards, but
Right.
Yeah.
At least in the current vintages.
totally
as they
reserved.
stand.
Yeah.
It's always
Right.
interesting when people ask, like, "Oh, what does that mean?" And I have to say, "Okay, so literal
Be prepared.
translation isn't super romantic, but hear me out."
Right. Can market it in like Halloween and that's about it. But
Right. Well, for love, we're coming up on Valentine's Day quickly.
we are. Right around the corner. Exactly. No, I think Sam was mentioning that it's a beautiful, versatile drink on the deck and pairs well with many different foods. So I must agree that this is very versatile, especially when we have our chili cook-offs.
Yeah.
So July 4th, this is something that you would definitely want to go for during that time.
Yes, this for me, this feels like watching sunsets and hanging out outside when it's warm and gorgeous and by the pool and with good friends and obviously better snacks.
True.
True. And I'm looking at this blend composition again on the Saigné. It appears that the Petite Syrah in it is coming from our vineyard, which is really cool. Got a little bit from Talent, but it is predominantly from the High Plains, almost about what I would estimate as the breakdown of how much fruit comes from the High Plains versus the Hill Country in general.
Right.
In the region where most of the Saigné is produced, which is sort of the central portion of the Rhone near Avignon, there are cooperatifs, which are little stores where the people who grow the grapes have not sold them or not to a winery or not making any other way to get rid of the grapes, make their own wine and then sell them in the cooperative. And there are three on the wall. There's a counter and 3 gasoline pumps standard. It says rosé, red, and white. And you put whatever you're going to put it in on a scale and tare it or weigh it. And then they just sell it to you by weight and fill up your jug and off you go. I have a friend who's from England, Harold Wood. He said his brother, who lives in London, loves to go to France, and he said the way to find the best wine in France is to find a Frenchman on a bicycle with wine jugs over the handlebars, and you just follow him in, and wherever he goes, you come in and you'll have great wine. So we don't have any gasoline pumps in our tasting room, but it's probably not a good idea for us.
That's an idea, though. I mean,
it is just that.
Yeah. No, that'd be fun. That'd be a cool experience.
Like we have a few neighbors that could really capitalize on that.
Right. Got the gears turning, like how can we market that? That's so fun.
What would this be good with as a pairing? What do you think?
So
maybe
I almost want it with like baked brie with baked pears and roasted walnuts. I think that would be really nice with a little balsamic
yeah.
glaze.
Oh
I
boy.
think it'd be very pleasant.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
On the way to the airport from coming back from Napa, we stopped in San Francisco at my favorite restaurant, which is Skoma, which is a famous place for Dungeness crab. It's right on the waterfront. And in Dungeness crab, as he said, Dungeness crab. And this would be whoosh with Dungeness crab, cold, chilled Dungeness crab. Whoosh. I'd go for this.
Oh, that does sound amazing.
Boy.
Well, I think this would go well with a nice charcuterie. So definitely walnuts, the espresso bella Vitana, so like the fontina cheese with the espresso on it. I mean, I think that would go so great with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, even maybe some crab cakes. Definitely some.
Yeah. Forget
Wonderful.
the cakes. Get to eat the Dungeness crab. All right.
That's right.
Shall we?
Yes, sir. I believe so. So we have our next glass, the 2020 Estate Sauvignon Blanc. So this one here, not released yet, other than to our Facebook family and friends out there that we can enjoy together. So all estate grapes from the Becker property. So.
And the last two vintages before this one, or does it include this one double gold in San Francisco?
Let's see.
So this one is it's a different label than the Sauvignon Blanc that we've got in retail distribution that has big winner. I have never seen specific label in my time working at the winery. And so, yes, it is the same grapes, different label.
Right. What has been known as White Wing.
Yes, and what has been known as, I think it was the 2018 Sauvignon Blanc that was available in retail distribution, was gorgeous. I can't remember the vintage though off the top of my head. I think it was 18. I would only bet $2 on that.
just two.
Just two. That's a safe bet. And on this particular wine, I'm looking at the blend comp. It does say that it's 80% from the 1993 planting of Sauvignon Blanc, and then the remaining 20% is from the 05 planting. I'm not sure if that's the breakdown of the entire vineyard block itself, or if it was selected that way intentionally. But I think it brings in an interesting topic. I think a lot of people hear the concept blend and think that means other grapes, perhaps from other places, different varietals, things of that nature. And it can really truly be from one property, just different plantings, because they will have different acids that they provide to the wine.
Right.
We planted the vineyard in the Sauvignon Blanc in 1993. And so some of it is from that. And the vines are, this big around. They're almost a foot at the base. And they've really done well. They produced some beautiful, beautiful fruit. I'm so proud. And is there some Simeon in this also?
This one is entirely Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
Right.
That's been the traditional formula for in Bordeaux of maybe 10% or 20% Simeon and about 80% Sauvignon Blanc. And this is partially barrel fermented.
Yes, sir.
Partially with a small portion of malolactic fermentation, and the rest was in stainless steel. And then trying to blend the two together to get the complex taste from each direction. The acidity from the non-malolactic stainless steel, and then the richness and creaminess from the barrel. And we tried it both ways. We tried making it all in barrel. We tried making all in stainless steel, and we've gone back and forth finally to this kind of blending them together at the end of the time. Probably spent a year in barrel. I think.
I think you're right.
That's what it looks like.
That is what it looks like. I was trying to do my quick math.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's what, 60% new oak.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it's French, so kind of softer qualities to it. But yeah, that's I think this is really beautiful.
I do too. I love the finish on this. It's how would you describe this, Caitlin? What do you get on the nose and on the finish?
So on the nose, mine had been sitting for a moment, and I am still, navigating my COVID smell, taste loss. And so things come to me in almost waves versus I'm able to pick apart all in one whiff. And so the first thing I did notice was the oak influence. So to vanilla bean, hints of soft banking spices and things of that nature. And then now as I'm, continuing to smell, I'm picking up maybe some really soft honeydew, maybe like a hint of grapefruit, nothing overpowering, sweeter grapefruit, white peaches again, maybe some passion fruit notes. It is just really, really pleasant, and it smells soft and rich, and it doesn't smell super sharp. It feels warm and inviting, which is something that typically on a white wine, I don't know that I would pitch that direction. I think it's really a unique nose, and on the palate, it's gorgeous as well. It's super creamy, super round. I just think it's beautiful.
And actually, we had Sauvignon Blanc with the Dungeness crab. I didn't see a rosé I wanted to order, and there's some great Sauvignon Blancs in Napa. And the one we had was from Saint-Supéry, and it was just could not have been better.
Wow.
This might have been better, should I say that? But it was really good Sauvignon Blanc.
Got a little bias there.
Yeah. That's true.
I definitely am picking up a little pineapple characteristic that's kind of sneaks in there. A little bit of a guava, kind of that tropical fruit characteristic, but hints of cinnamon, little hint of vanilla. Yeah, there's just kind of almost a creamy characteristic. So I believe that's kind of coming from aging Sir Lee as well. So kind of that little bit more that body that almost like hints of like a baked bread.
I always feel like brioche.
Right.
That's always instinctively.
Yeah, boy.
I almost want to change my mind about the baked brie pair situation and put it with this and rethink my rosé pairing. I've got a few supplies on hand. I will report back next week. I've got the evening juicy food pairing.
Right. I mean,
We had a wonderful experience in Napa, which we spent a couple hours at Demto Sarah Cooper, who made the oak for this. And let's see. Excuse me just a second. I'm going to have to take this phone call. Okay.
Yes, sir. Not a problem.
I think you can mute him.
Hello?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Just in case.
All right. Got it. Yeah. Cool.
Hey.
Hey everybody, Facebook Live. This is what we do, and appreciate you guys being with us and enjoying this wine. So being a sneak peek and like not having this yet, I think we have a lot of white wing still. So
Just kind
once
of
we get,
because this is so good.
it is so good. I mean, it's just something that I can kind of look forward to, and having it age in the bottle a little bit longer before we do release it.
Right.
So I think this is super fun. So this one, baked brie, huh?
Yes, that's what I really want now. And I have a wheel of brie, and I've got time, and so it may be my my evening endeavor is that I delve into pairings here.
Right.
I also want to say that it's always fun to sit down and do these virtual tastings like this. And this is very similar to the process for how we write tasting notes on our website. We will
Exactly.
all get together, 10 of us, and smell a wine a bunch of times, try it a bunch of times, and just shout out buzzwords and receive feedback on said buzzwords, maybe hone in on what specific floral component or specific herb, and push it all around. And I think it's really interesting how different everyone perceive the exact same wine, because we'll go from, all right, guys, glasses, try them, smell them, get started, to having 75 words to describe the same wine and narrowing it down into a very specific, I'll agree, aye.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I think it's fun to do these because not everybody gets to see how awkward and sometimes strange the process is to go through and like, I smell flower. Oh, it's lanolin. Oh, it's this, and actually nail down what gets written.
Yeah. I mean, even, Googling certain things like, what kind of flowers are these type of flowers, and, kind of
All
going
purple
through.
flowers.
Yes.
Baking
And then
spices.
right, exactly. And then kind of looking at the descriptors for those and then
Mhm.
saying, I do pick that up, or, nail on the head, light bulb moment kind of a thing.
Or whenever you're like grasping for specific types of stone fruit, and you're like, oh well, this is kind of reminiscent of this or what have you, and then somebody else pipes in or chimes in with the actual thing you were looking for in your brain and could not find and match up with.
Right.
I don't know, I think it's a fun time, and I'm happy that
Yeah,
everybody gets to be here with us while we do this loud publicly.
exactly. So, I know that I'm not as cultured as y'all guys, different fruits and
I'm going to argue that Dr. Becker has us both beat, my friend.
yeah, I think he does. So, seeing those different, plums and apples and, different flowers and stuff, things that they've experienced over the years, and can, we can glean from that knowledge and be like, okay, that's a descriptor that we can kind of put in our data bank for later use, which is
Right.
super cool.
So Sam Hergert, he said that they had free tarts and they were fantastic with the rosé and the Sauvignon Blanc. So I wasn't wrong. Makes me feel
Yes.
good. I'm very excited
Yeah.
and hopeful for this evening's events.
Yeah. I can almost like think of maybe spiced like almonds or spiced nuts with these,
Absolutely.
especially like on a cold evening like this.
I
Or-
have to get the fire started soon.
right, I know. So yeah, but I think I got a zuppa toscana that we made yesterday.
Ooh,
So
fantastic.
I think that's what I'm gonna enjoy the Saigné and the Sauv Blanc with, and then probably enjoy a little bit of that Main Street cab by itself.
You should enjoy them all and see how everybody plays together.
True, true, true. So we ready to go to the next wine?
Let's do it. I think this was the most recent wine that we smelled and tasted through together.
Yes.
Instantly, the first thing I picked up was almost butter. So I know malolactic is the first cue.
Oh,
It's been interesting for me to also see how my nose has changed, and the things that it picks up first and initially, versus before COVID, we'll call it BC.
yeah.
The
Literally.
BC things, right?
Yeah. No, you're dead on with that butter. Like it just hit me in the face.
I want buttered popcorn in front of the fireplace with cheesy movie about a winter storm. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. Is it Day After Tomorrow?
That one, yes. Armageddon.
Right. Yeah.
This is
Oh my
so
gosh.
rich. It just smells beautiful, like all the baked and stewed dark, maybe currants and blackberries and cherries. That's the first thing I'm picking up. Beyond better.
Yeah. Yeah, getting some red currant notes to it. Getting a hint of dill.
Okay. Okay. See, I have a hard time being able to smell dill outside of pickle realm, which is something that I
Right.
need to probably work on and, nail it down. But this wine is just, this is going to be my curl up on the couch tomorrow afternoon and hang out wine,
Mm-hmm.
especially once that
Yeah.
temperature drops. It is just beautiful. Picking up, the baking spices as well. I don't know that I can't quite nail down, not clove, maybe some cinnamon, maybe some allspice, things in that realm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get a little white pepper.
Yes, I could do that.
So anybody out there in Facebook land that has a kind of a baking spice idea that you're picking up,
Yes. Pitch them back at us.
yes.
So 2017, it's interesting to have a cab it's newly released from that vintage year.
Oh, I know.
Considering that it's 2022, and so we're rapidly approaching the 5th year of post harvest for that vintage. It is so round. It's got some nice tannin. It's got some grip. It's velvety. It's nice to see what happens when you make a wine, bottle it, and then let it rest for a while before you bring it out. I feel like so frequently we are out of cab, and it is top tier emergency, must have it. And not that it's super rushed. Obviously the wine making process itself takes quite some time and a lot of dedication and thoughtfulness. As soon as we get in a bottle, sometimes it's like, we have 7 bottles of Canada Cab, it is time to bring this out. To see it all now come together and feel so cohesive. Sometimes when a wine is freshly bottled, it feels a little disappointed. This is just gorgeous.
Yeah. No, it's timely release.
Yes.
Especially since we were without a Main Street cab for a while.
Cannot tell you how many emails, phone calls, and people we had that were just up in arms. Could not believe it. But I think this is well worth the wait.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So you cannot get this at the winery. This is Main Street exclusive. It was almost discussed about having it in wine club shipment, but however, with the limited amount that we produced, and it didn't have enough. Exactly. So if you like this, you must go to our Main Street location.
Yes.
You can order it, from us, but it Main Street's kind of a hidden gem. Not everybody knows that it's there, it's available, especially for wine club members out there to enjoy, get a glass of wine, walk around Main Street and shop, or just enjoy the beautiful property.
See, I would hit the Main Street tasting room after my walking shopping endeavors, and go sit in the comfy couches in the wine club lounge. That would be my situation, and order a charcuterie board and hang out in either the warm or the AC, depending on the season, and wrap things up there for my shopping adventure.
Right.
I mean, do you know about this label? Make faces at you.
Heard stories, heard
Okay.
many stories. Just that Tony Bell,
Yes.
writing this, and it has been, I think showcased for, was it the Nimitz Museum, which they thoroughly enjoyed and were really excited and couldn't get enough of, showcasing it. But I haven't heard all the
story
everything
line.
about it.
Right.
Exactly.
See, I know that we've recently gone through and looked at all of Tony's artwork that we have at the winery, and I don't know the storyline, unfortunately, behind this specific print. I was hoping that you would know, or that Doc would be back 7 minutes ago. But from my understanding, we don't know who the actual young man is, and that is just my understanding, and that is been passed down to us. It is gorgeous, gorgeous image, and I will say, when it's this big on a bottle, it doesn't present as well as it does in real life. It is gorgeous. All of Tony Bell's work really are fantastic, and sometimes for labels, for it to translate well into print, you have to darken things or lighten things or enhance specific color spectrums, etc. And
Right.
we don't want to necessarily change the artwork, but we do want it to be visible, where if you are standing 7 feet away from it, you can actually tell what you're looking at, and it's not just
Right.
And so I don't know the storyline behind this. I will say that it is a fantastic image, and I think it's something that I wish we had Tony on to talk about. Unfortunately, he's not reachable at this moment.
Right.
John?
Right. And it
John
look who it
is joining
is.
us.
My
What is this
goodness.
gentleman doing?
Hey.
This distinguished gentleman.
Who is he? What is he at?
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, are we live?
We are live. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And there goes. And he's back.
Yeah, I guess I'm not very familiar with using the phone for Zoom. I apologize.
And that's okay. That's okay.
It happens.
Yeah.
Zoom is way different on the phone than it is on the
Right.
computer.
Right.
Right.
Do
So
you
which wine are you
happen
guys on?
cab, Main Street cab?
I'm sorry?
Main Street cab.
Oh, I like that.
It is
Yeah.
good. You did
Yes.
good.
It's beautiful.
Do you know the story behind the label on the Main Street cab?
On Tony Bell's label?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the gentleman in front of the B-17.
Yes, that.
No, I really don't know the whole story. No, I don't know why he chose that as a focal point.
Right.
Yeah, but when we saw it, it was just perfect, especially since we're right across from the Pacific War Museum, and a little tie-in there for the history. So
Right.
yeah. So who
So
else is on with us? I only see you, Caitlin, and then occasionally Bobby. I can't see everybody.
because I talk a lot, make a lot of noises, and move around enough, that Zoom says, "Oh, she's very important."
Oh, there's Doc.
Here we are.
I am sorry. I had I got tied up with some things, so I asked Rachel to cover for me. I went into her office. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. You have to take it. She's like, what?
John, we need you. Has anyone noticed how beautiful the aromatic of this wine is?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
It's funny because the wine itself came from the Six Hearts Vineyard up in Plains. So
Yes.
yeah, so that is a vineyard that Jet is farming for Judge and Judge Hart, the two judges. But
Do they have 4 children? Is that where this comes from? Or?
yes, yeah, for the Six Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a beautiful vineyard. We get some beautiful fruit from there. We get the Cabernet, we get a little Merlot, we've gotten some Viognier. We also, on the years that it produces, we get the Touriga Nacional. That remember that 2017 was our first year getting that, and then we also get a little bit of Tannat.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a brilliant vineyard. Rachel, are you
Cool.
there?
It's not.
She's not.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think she
No.
got caught up trying to prepare before winter storm apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of that's going on right now.
That's what we're doing right now, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You're also preparing in a different way.
To prepare, I made a large pot of soup and made sure that the garage heater was on. So,
Nice.
John, this is so good. I mean, how do you explain that? I mean,
well, it comes from pure genius in the winemaking realm. The fruit, first of all, Jet's got a deft hand when it comes to growing fruit. There's no doubt about it. And that vineyard is actually only about 2 miles away from his vineyard. It's the same soil area, so we get a lot of similar fruit aspects. I don't know how to turn this video around. I think it would be kind of fun. Here, hold on. No, I just
lie down on the couch, John, and you'll go.
No. I'm being consumed by my cat. Look, he's biting and licking my hand.
Hello, human. Why are you talking to them right now? You could be paying attention.
I think they've been in the spots. What I think.
Yeah. No, he's that's my 17-pound mountain lion, and on Wednesdays I have to be very careful. The reason I have the phone on right now, not the computer, is he's been after cords lately. And so he ripped the cord out of my Mac.
Little aggressive, Lou.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I said Lou's a little aggressive there.
Yes, he is. He's staring at my hand, which is on my knee now. I fully expect him to launch full claws out. So, yeah.
Brace yourself.
He's gonna launch on your face.
Yeah, he did. He got it.
So, John, while we have you here, Sam Hergert, he wanted to know what is the difference between this Iconoclast Main Street Cabernet Sauvignon versus the Icon at the grocery store?
Oh, well, that's a great question, because the Iconoclast is a series of wines. So it is, imagine it as a winery within a winery, so that's it's its own bond. It's its own class. This particular wine, Sam, is made specifically for the Main Street celebration of the generation that served during World War II and beyond, certainly kind of a way to hence the label, kind of honoring the women and men that have helped us along the way and keeping us safe and sound. The cab itself comes from one vineyard, where the cab from the Icon that you find in the grocery store comes from multiple different vineyards and sourced in-state and out-of-state both. So this particular one is all in-state, all from one vineyard. They're all Cabernet. They're both very good wines. This particular one we aged a little bit longer. You can tell by the vintage date, and we just released it. So 2017 wine that's been aged for quite some time. I love it when we're offered a little bit of wine that we can play with and that we can barrel age for a long time. I particularly like to barrel age things a long time. It brings down a body and the esters that just keep giving forward. Now, there's somebody that I work for that sometimes wants to argue the counterpoint of not barrel aging very long, but it's okay. So far, I haven't been fired. But I think this Cabernet from the Six Hearts it stands out head and shoulders above. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, they both do say Icon on there, and that is because we bond and bottle underneath that particular bond.
Yes.
And we can go on and we can do a whole. Oh,
Look
there you go.
Here's Pebbles the Wonder Cat.
Yeah.
This is a dilute torty.
Uh-huh.
On the other end, please. Sorry.
That's okay.
Jesus, sweetheart. Well, John, but this is so different from our other cabs. I mean, it really is.
It is.
Yeah.
This may be a great source of Cabernet.
Well, we've locked them into the next 5 years.
This is good.
We just re-signed with them. I have to show you this because as soon as I broadcast it, if Jody's watching, I'm going to get a nasty text. But you see that?
Woo!
Yeah, he's
Wow.
that he's not supposed to be on.
But it is a really good chair. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
he fills it up nicely.
yeah. The Cabernet from the Six Hearts Vineyard, Doc, it really is particularly rich, and I really enjoy it. And those berries, when they come in, they're pretty small. So we get a lot of good skin to juice ratio on there, pretty high skin to juice ratio.
Wow.
And this has been an oak for at least 2 years, right?
Yeah, I was in oak 3.5. Yeah,
it didn't hurt it.
No, it didn't. And see, this is something that it's really wonderful when you have that epiphanal moment when somebody shows you, like happened to me about 18 years ago, and somebody showing me wines that have been aged for 3, 4, 5 years in barrel, and you're like, well, I thought after 2 years, the barrels would go punky or they wouldn't do well. There's this misnomer, and there's a whole class of wines that get aged in these barrels for such a long time, and the fruit's intact. There's great body, there's mouthfeel, there's that palate. It just keeps giving, and then when you smell it, just that brilliant aged, beautiful smell of wine. Wine really needs to be enjoyed, through the nose first. And multiple times before you even sip, just to get that nose in there. And then when you take that sip, you fully appreciate that, one, it takes 33 people to make that glass of wine. 2, it takes 3 to 5 years to make it start to finish, in addition to the 3 to 5 years it takes to grow the vines before you harvest them. Wine is not a quick game.
No.
Wine is certainly ties you to the rhythm of the year, that agricultural calendar. That's another reason I love winemaking. I'm a creature of habit. I love to know that in January I'm bottling, and in August I'm crushing. There's a lot to be said about knowing what you're going to do every month of the year. Yeah, but that Six Hearts, you're right, Doc. That Six Hearts cab is just wonderful.
Just
Wow.
very nice.
Now, is this the first one you guys started with, or did you do the Saigné first?
The Saigné first, and the Sauvignon Blanc. Just terrific line of wines, I think. Very proud of it.
That Estate Sauvignon Blanc is absolutely phenomenal. The 2020, we did not have very much. That's why we decided, winery only kind of thing. Usually we have enough of our estate and with VJ's Sauvignon Blanc to do a really nice market Sauvignon Blanc, which we have, again this year, and last year we had a little bit to put out there, but I got very greedy when we were tasting that Sauvignon Blanc from the estate. It's got a nice grassiness. It's got a brilliant note. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, and has not even been released yet. So this is a sneak peek.
Yeah. Bobby, did we send that out in Wine Club, or are we going to release it soon? Do you know?
No, I mean, we've got a lot of white wing still left over.
Right.
So because we do have some of the this ready to showcase a little bit. It's just
Yeah, well, the white wing, is a completely different creature. The white wing is a traditional white Bordeaux style. I mean, we use a little bit of Semillon in there. Trust me, if I could find some Sauvignon Muscat, I probably would have put it in there too. But the white wing is meant to be an old world style, where the Estate Sauvignon Blanc is definitely New World. It is definitely very much American winemaking style in the forefront. A nice, brilliant grassiness. And I have to shout out to the New Zealanders, because the Kiwis know how to make Sauvignon Blanc. I am absolutely in love with what they do with Sauvignon Blanc.
Right.
Yeah.
So we might be releasing it sooner than later. So we'll see what we got.
Right. Well, I'm glad the Sauvignon Blanc's showing well. So, Kaylin, are there any questions about that I can answer for any of those?
So we've gotten most of them covered. Jet says Tokyo is very cold. Their high, I think, was 33.
Right.
He's out here saying hello, so that's a good sign.
Well,
he's got
that is a
power
good
and
sign.
it's warm. Barry wanted to know if this was the same Main Street cab that was run out at the tasting room downtown like a year ago. Same cab, new vintage.
Yeah, it's
Very
Cabernet,
gross.
new vintage, new vineyard. So,
There you go.
Yeah. So the original
There you
Main
go.
Street cab did have a little bit of that vineyard in there, but it was a blend of different vineyards. And this is also the brilliant thing about winemaking. When when Rachel and I go through the barrels and start tasting and comparing notes, and then I sit down and start doing the blends, we literally talk about that vintage year. What was it that made it great? What was it? Where were the problems? What did we expect, and what were we surprised by, and stuff. And then I sit down, which is what I've been doing the last several days after getting done with my bottling stuff, is going out and tasting when I can. I'm a little behind there, so I'm gonna have to spend the next few weeks tasting a lot of wine. But for the next vintages, when I came across that 6 Arts and that 17, we knew that it had to stand alone. So we actually, fun story, we actually bottled this wine quite some time ago. We left it as shiners before the label was ready. We got it in a bottle, so we aged it several months before labeling it. So that in order to get it in a bottle, let it get through the shock so we could label it and then release it.
That's perfect.
So is
That's
that
awesome.
the secret, having it sit a little bit longer in bottle?
Well, that's one of many. And apparently people, it's so funny you say that today. People have been asking me questions like, so what's your secret of, or what's the recipe for? And I'm like, I don't know what you speak of. However, when you go and taste a barrel of wine and you like it, maybe you should put it into bottle. That's what we're going to be dealing with this weekend too. Apparently, Dr. Becker tried a Roussanne that he really likes from the 20 vintage, and now I have to get it out of barrel and put it in a bottle. And by the way,
What a
Doc, all of those
problem.
barrels were fantastic. So I think we have something to look forward to.
I
Beautiful.
was going to tell John, we had a wonderful tour of Demptos with Ron, and we want him to come and do a special presentation for our wine club about wine expression, oak expression in wine.
Yeah,
and use our different wines and different oak treatments, and I think that'd be a great seminar. Great.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, did you guys enjoy the tour of because Joe and I did the tour a couple of years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And is Margaret on with you tonight?
I just got here. Yes.
Did you like the tour, Margaret?
Oh my gosh, it was so informative. I
Good.
have never seen how the heat and how they do the heat up the center before they close it up.
Right.
It was absolutely unbelievable. And they are so precise in every detail, and even made I think they're going to make it a Lazy Susan with the Becker Vineyard tree and
Nice.
all the digital burning that took place right in front of us. I mean, it was, but every inch of that is just, it's so much to learn, and it's so interesting.
Well, for $45,000, we could buy a really nice laser burner just like that and do all sorts of fun things.
It was great to watch them when they put the logo on our barrels. That's
right
from the computer.
Yes.
I don't know if you all seen that, Taylor, Bobby, but that's whoosh. That's amazing to see.
It is.
That's amazing. I've not.
Yeah, it's
and they are so specific. They do not want one thing wrong with any barrel. I mean, they pull out one piece that is put together many different ways and all that. It was just an eye opener.
Well, actually, we always expected 10% leakers in our barrels, and all that's gone away. They've solved that. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, we only honestly, out of the 700-800 barrels we bought last year, I think we had one that actually leaked when we first got it. We were able to fix it. It's just hydration problem at that point. So yeah, we don't have the same problem we did 10, 15 years ago with barrels. And Demptos has led the charge on a number of different fronts. And one of them, which I specifically really, really like, is the way they toast their barrels and how they program that in. And it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So I'm glad you got to enjoy it, because it really is such an integral part of the wine. The wine that you're enjoying now was Demptos American Oak. So that Cabernet did not see any French oak at all. That was all American oak. So it has been fun over the last 2.5 decades to to see the rise of American oak into and how the understanding of how to use it in the wine industry versus French oak. And there are many people who spent a lot of years figuring that out. And I feel very much like the person that gets to take advantage of all of that information, knowing the folks, reading everything that's going on, and then trying it and having a leg up, saying, okay, this is where I'm going to start, from their end of saying this is the way it is, and then go from there. And that, but this cab is part of that. That is certainly part of how it became a very good cab, is the way it has been aged. So.
And I think this cab is just beginning. I mean, it is poised to, as it gets older, richer, thicker. This is going to be a special wine, in my opinion.
Well, it's funny because people are outside of Texas are discovering Texas wines, and it's interesting to see some of the articles that I've seen in the last year or so, year and a half, but also what's going to be coming out in the next year, year to 2 years. People that are in state right now trying to write about things, different projects that are going on. So it's kind of fun. People are discovering that we're the unsung American viticulture area of Texas, and how many good wines are coming out of there. So
I tasted. Margaret and I went to Larkmead, which was reminded me the most of the Napa wines I loved in the 80s.
Yes.
Before Robert Parker. Before they over extracted, over alcohol. These were all 13.2.
Right.
Incredibly wonderful.
But in fairness, the vines that produce those lower alcohols are not as clean. Some of the stuff, especially after the phylloxera epidemic in the late 80s, the 88, 89, all of the vines that they lost in Napa, and the replant, 80% replant of that county in the early 90s, with clean tissue clones of those grapes that can put on sugar like crazy, but they have no natural disease barrier or anything to slow down. And sugar is one thing, but phenolic ripeness is another. And having to wait for that phenolic ripeness, and you get these high sugars, that's part of the balance kind of went out there. There's a lot to be said about the stuff in the 80s that you really enjoyed was filled with red leaf. That classic iconic look of a vineyard in the fall with all those beautiful red and gold leaves. That's actually a virus. It's a virus. It's a disease-ridden vineyard. It may look beautiful, but it also creates the edge where sugar is not put on because the chlorophyll's not there. So you're not having good transpiration. You're not having good, the Krebs cycle has been interrupted. You're not getting that carbohydrate production. So you're not getting the sugars, but you are getting phenolic ripeness. The flavors are starting to maturate in those grapes. So you get those low alcohol, really beautiful wines. Yes, one of the easiest wines in the world to make, and nobody's going to believe when I say this, is an extracted Napa Valley Cabernet. It's probably one of the easiest wines to ever make. I know that sounds horrible to say, and it's not meant to be horrible, but it's a very forgiving grape. The Cabernet is. It is also.
It's that's what it is. And it's not
to make
a French Cabernet. That's
right. Well, to make a Cabernet that tastes like Cabernet, not just an extracted tannic bomb and fruit bomb, but to make something that's balanced and that has that varietal correctness. Just every year, I want to hope that I do that at least once or twice. So,
well, I think you've done it.
I think we've been very lucky.
I don't think so. Anyway.
Okay, so you've done all three wines. Have you guys been thinking about food? I know you haven't been thinking about food.
Not even a little bit.
Well, you missed this, John, but we stopped at Skoma's, my favorite restaurant on the planet in San Francisco. Yeah, it had Dungeness crab.
Oh,
and we had a Sanssouci Dollarhide Sauvignon Blanc.
I love the Dollarhide Ranch. That is, I've got some Dollarhide Cabernet Franc in my closet right now. That's just fantastic.
So that was about my thought with that. And,
Dungeness crab and Sauvignon Blanc. I don't think you can go wrong with that. Bobby, I know you've got something in the back of your mind.
And I don't know. So like with this cab, I know Kaylin was mentioning about the buttery nose, and I'm almost getting picking up almost like a cedar-like quality right on the back of the palate.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Which kind of, it's just making me think of barbecue. So a nice fire outside, nice tenderloin with some grilled vegetables, maybe some corn, nice roasted corn. Yeah, I think this would be beautiful with that. Just kind of a nice cool evening, fire outside. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I was that Saigné. I've had that Saigné with pulled pork barbecue sandwich. Let me tell you, buddy, that was a good deal. We won't even discuss the waffle fries.
I'm interested.
Okay, Caitlin, what do you got?
So honestly, tonight I am currently cooking chili. I would like to try all 3 wines with chili. I especially interested. Obviously, I think the Cab and the Saigné would be fantastic. I'm curious about the Sauvignon Blanc. It's going to be venison chili, so we'll see. I'm just going to throw it out there. But I also have a wheel of brie, and I do have apples from Chef Michael. He was eating out some things, and I took them off of his hands.
That was
and I
very
have some
kind of
walnuts, and I think baked brie with the baked apples and the walnuts would be also fantastic.
What you really need are some Texas pecans, the tinier ones.
I only have what I have on hand. I tried to go to HEB yesterday, and it was picked over and overwhelming at best.
Right. Well, that I can tell you from firsthand experience, Sauvignon Blanc and chili, they're not the best pairing, but I like them.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like both items, I think that the baked brie follow-up for dessert will be really where it's at.
Right.
Definitely. Sounds amazing.
Okay. So what do we have on for next week, Bobby?
Next week. So kind of getting geared up for Valentine's. So because we will be tasting like right before Valentine's Day. The theme is a little sweet one for your little sweet one. Now, dolcetto meaning little sweet one. In Italian, it's a dry wine. So don't be worried out there, guys, in Facebook land. It is going to be a vertical tasting of the Wilmot family dolcetto. So we'll be doing it 2015, 17, and 18.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I just to let everybody know, I put all the cruise wines together for both the June and the November cruise. So all the wines have been picked and put together. So if you guys are in the least bit interested in maybe just running away from all the everyday problems and joining us first in the Rhone and Burgundy and the Rhone, and then in November we're going up the Danube. We'll start in Budapest and go all the way up to Vienna. So yeah, I'm just saying, it could be a little distraction.
Be fun times.
Absolutely. Okay,
All
Caitlin,
right.
anything from you?
Wine club
Any
shipments
update?
are coming soon. It's very exciting. We'll be sending out additional emails, reminders in the next week. And we hope to see you guys out at the pickup party. Come and visit us. It'll be fun. We'll have music. We will have snacks, a chocolatier. It's going to be fantastic.
We'll have an igloo probably, so this will be great.
I'm hoping to will away all signs of ice and cold frigidness. I don't want any.
Good. I vote for that. Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We're hoping that groundhog did not see his shadow. So.
He didn't. Unfortunately, that groundhog died last week.
Yeah, the governor dropped him or something. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Poxitani Phil passed away. So yeah. So
There
I
you
don't know
go.
what that means. Maybe some end of the world.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Drink about it, guys.
Yeah, we'll just drink to that. Yes.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I joined you all late, but I'm glad everybody enjoyed the wines. So
Amazing.
and
I'm glad you had time to get into a Hawaiian shirt. John.
yes, I changed just for everybody. This is actually my really nice Indonesian batik. So, all righty, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thanks for letting us join you again. And cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you all next week.
Thanks, guys.
Next week.